Hi guys, for today's class I'm going to go through the area and perimeter from the exam yesterday and make sure that everybody is familiar with finding the basics, alright? And hopefully that will, listen, we're going to touch on this in third year again, so don't be under too much pressure. So for the perimeter of this shape, we have all the distances around the side. Now this one wasn't given to us, but because this is 25, this is 25. Because this is 5, that's also 5, so I've written it in. And then we have 25 across the top, so 10 and 10, and that gives us 5 here in the middle, right? So the whole lot is 25 and 10 and 5 and 5 and 5 and 10 and 25 and 25. So it's the distance around the outside. And you get 100 centimeters. For the area, I'm going to have to split this shape up. So I split it up into two identical rectangles down here at the bottom, and then a larger rectangle then up here. So 5 by 10, remember area of a rectangle is length by width. So 5 by 10 gives us 50 centimeters squared and 50 centimeters squared with these two down here. And this one then is going to be 25 by, now it's not the full length 25. Obviously there's 5 taken off it. So it's 25 by 20. Okay. And 25 by 20 is 500 centimeters squared. So plus 500 centimeters squared gives us 600 centimeters squared. Okay. Now, you'll notice that I made a mistake. I didn't give you the length here, which meant that you couldn't find the perimeter of this, but you could find the area. So for the area, we needed to split this in two. A triangle and a rectangle. Now, if that's 13, then that's 13, which makes the whole lot 20, so this has to be 7. If the vertical height here is 8, then the vertical height here is 8. So for the rectangle, the area of the rectangle, it's 13 by 8. All right, this one here. So 8 tens is 80, 8 threes are 24. That gives us 104 centimeters squared. And then the area of a triangle is half the base by the perpendicular height. So for the triangle, it's a half 7 times 8, or a half 8 times 7. It doesn't make a difference what order you put it in. Half 8 is 4, 4 sevens, 28 centimeters squared. So 104 and 28 gives us 132 centimeters squared is the area. All right, but that's about breaking it into two shapes that we know. The two questions down here then, find the area of the shaded regions. These questions are similar in the sense that you have to find the whole lot and take out the parts that are in the middle. So you'll notice here that in the middle of these is a circle and a triangle. So obviously this part is hard to find the area of, but I can find the area of the whole lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the whole lot, because it's an L shape, I'm going to break it into two rectangles. So I'm just going to draw a line down here, down the middle, so you can see it. So that's 4 by 8, which is 32 centimeters squared, this part here. And this part here then is 8 by 14. So 14 by 8. 8 tens are 80, so that gives us 112 centimeters squared. So the whole lot, all of this shape all together is 144 centimeters squared. But they only want the shaded region. So the shaded region is 144 centimeters squared minus a circle minus a triangle. So the triangle is going to be a half 4 times 6, half the base by the perpendicular height, which gives us 12 centimeters squared. The area of the circle, remember, is pi r squared, which means it's 3.14. And remember, the radius of this one was 3, so by 3 squared. Okay, you plug that into your calculator and you roughly get about 28 centimeters squared, okay, something in around that. So it's 144 centimeters squared minus the triangle minus the circle. So 144 minus 12 minus 28, okay? And that gives us 104 centimeters squared. Over here, we have a rectangle. The rectangle, full rectangle minus a triangle. So the full rectangle is 12 by 8. 8 tens are 80, 8 twos are 16, so that gives us 96 centimeters squared. Because I don't have a formula for the area of this little part here. And then I'm going to take away the triangle from it. Remember a triangle, half the base by the perpendicular height. So half of it is 4, 4 times 6 is 24 centimeters squared. So remember, it's the rectangle minus the triangle. So 96 minus 24 gives us 72 centimeters squared. Okay, on we go again. These two, it's about mixing and matching what we know already. So this shape is an irregular shape, but it's made up of, if I draw lines across here, it's made up of two triangles, all right, and a rectangle up here. Okay. Now, or else I could do a whole rectangle and take it away if I wanted to. So when I look at this here, all right, I can find the area of the rectangle and then the area of the two triangles. Okay. Over here, we've done this question. Remember, I don't have an area of this section in here because it looks irregular, doesn't it? But what's the whole lot? I have to think, okay, so can I break this shape down into shapes I know? I can't. So what's the whole lot? The whole lot is a rectangle, 20 by 25, which gives us 500 centimeters squared. And what's taken away from it? Two triangles are taken away. What are the triangles? Half the base by the perpendicular height. They're both identical. Perpendicular height is 10. So a half 20 times 10, which is 100 centimeters squared. And notice the way it's a rectangle minus the two triangles. So I'm going to multiply that by 2. And that gives me 200 centimeters squared. So it's 500 minus 200 gives me 300 centimeters squared. Finally, last question. It asks me for the volume in litres of the following. Right? Well, first of all, I have to find the volume of them. So what's the volume of a cuboid? Length by width by height. So 30 by 20 by 10. Okay. 30 by 20 is 600. 600 by 10 is 6,000 centimeters. And remember, it's volume now, so it's going to be cubed. So remember I told you needed to learn the conversion. 1,000 centimeters cubed is 1 litre. So 6,000 centimeters cubed is 6 1,000s, so 6 litres is the volume of that. Over here, cylinder. Again, we learn the formula is there for us. We don't need to learn it. You had it in your copy, okay? And it's pi r squared h. R standing for the radius of the cylinder, h standing for the height. So 3.14 by 15 squared by 60. Okay, so you multiply all them together. So 3.14 15 squared is going to be 225 by 60. Okay, and you multiply those three together, right? And you get the volume in centimeters cubed. And then remember this, you have to remember this. 1,000 centimeters cubed is 1 litre, right? So please bear that in mind. Now, they are the basics of all the dimensions we've been doing. And obviously we'll progress from them. But remember, we have squares, rectangles, triangles, and circles when it comes to area. And then we have cubes, cuboids, and cylinders when it comes to volume, okay? There are three-dimensional objects, three-dimensional shapes. We'll discuss more over the next couple of days.